things that I learned, and that's why being authentic is so important, because you're not just being authentic with other people, you got to be authentic with yourself. You got to be authentic and tell yourself, hey, this is where I know that I've got a blind spot or I got a weak spot. Because mine was never alcohol. I mean, I don't have anything against it. It doesn't do it for me. I'm just not a big drinker. It's never been drugs. I'm not going to tell you that I haven't tried things way back in the past, but that never did it for me. But like my dad, I have always appreciated a good-looking woman. So like when we were doing the Blue Collar Tour, and this is going on, I've done stand-up for almost 40 years. This has always been the way I do it. But I knew out of the things that get men in trouble, that's where I was vulnerable. The other two, I wasn't going to go out and do heroin. I wasn't going to go out and get blackout drunk. But I like a pretty girl. So when we would do Blue Collar at the end of the night, we'd get through with the show, and the other guys would always go out and hang out at a bar, and they would go, Fox, come on, then let's go have a beer. And I'm like, I'm just going to go back to my room and order room service and call home. And it wasn't that I thought having a beer was a bad thing. Not at all. Here's what I knew. I knew Jeff, not being a drinker, if he had one beer and we were having fun and laughing and cutting up, I'd probably have 2 beers. And if I had 2 and we're still laughing and drinking and cutting up, I might have 3 beers. Well, now, Jeff's getting happy, and all it takes is somebody in a low-cut dress that smells good sitting down next to me, and I'm going to start flirting with her. And I'm in a really precarious situation where I can do the same thing that my dad did. And so I'm like, be wise. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to be vulnerable. Because if you break that thing at home, you can glue it back together, but it's never the same. It's never going to be the same. So be wise and don't if your thing is alcohol, don't go out to the bar. It's going to get you in trouble. Be honest with yourself. All of us have weak spots. All of us have blind spots. But be wise enough to avoid those spots. Because here's what happens. Trust, and you know this with your friends, trust is built, it's like a cup of coffee. You build trust 1 drop at a time. When you meet somebody, you don't know nothing about them, you have no trust. And then you'll go out and you'll do something together and you go, I really like that dude. And you got a couple of drops of trust in there, and then over the months and over the years, that cup fills up 1 drop at a time and it's full. But when you break trust, it's like breaking the bottom out of that coffee cup. You don't lose it a drop at a time, you lose it all at once. And when you lose it, it never comes back the way it was before. And so for me, I like a pretty girl, but I didn't want my kids to look at me that way. I didn't want my kids to look at me the way I would look at my dad when he was on marriage number 4, and we'd go out to eat somewhere and he'd start flirting with the waitress, and I'm like, holy crap, here we go again. Because he may end up leaving me at the restaurant and leaving with her. He was good. He was really good. But I didn't trust, and I didn't want my kids to ever feel that way about me.
Hey, I'm in Doc Smogger, by the way. Hey, has there been a time in your life where you felt like you lost sight or lost vision of your purpose, and how did you get back on track with it?
I think we all do that. We're fallible. I've had times in my life where I'm like, one of the things I confess to God almost every night when I go to sleep is, I hadn't loved you the way I should. I wish I'd have done better at that. But yeah, there's been times in my life, a lot of times. But he's that dad in Luke 15. Bono, lead singer for U2, said the best stories are either about people running away from God or running towards him. And you're one of the two. I used to tell Ron White, I said, you're either living in a state of humility or you're headed towards one. But you know, when you realize you've driven off the road, you know, and that's what a small group does. A small group is almost like guardrails. And you think, well, why are there guardrails on the side of the road? Why? Somebody answer. Why is there guardrails on the side of the road? Keep you from driving down the hill into the ditch and hitting a tree. That's what a small group is. A small group is one of your buddies that sees you flirting with somebody at work and goes, dude, be careful. Be careful. You need those guardrails. And we all screw up. He loves us anyway. You know. And that's what he said at the cross. He goes, you're not just worth something. To me, you're worth everything. And so when we screw up, what do you want your kids to do when they screw up? Is come back to you and go, hey, here's what I did. I'm sorry. I'm going to try not to do it again. That's what he wants from us. Here's what I did. I'm sorry. Try not to do it again. And the word repent, I tell you, this is something cool I learned. You know what the word repent means? I always thought it meant, I'm sorry. You know what repent means? Change the way you think. So when Jesus would say to people, repent, it was like, change the way you think. So I love that word now. You know, you can teach an old dog new tricks. I can change the way I think. I can say, I let it go. I'm not in control. Anybody else? Dang. We done?
One more. We got one more.
All right.
What's up? My name is Sean. I have a quick question for you. In the entertainment business, I'm sure you were probably pulled a lot of different ways, especially challenged a lot in your faith. Would you have any advice for someone like myself who's trying to go into that business, not in the comedian space, but more in like the film industry, of just how to maintain that groundedness?
A small group. But it's like even things like the Ten Commandments, you know, that if you think about it from a father's perspective, thou shalt not commit adultery. Well, does that mean he's not going to love you if you do that? No. What it says is, if you do this, you're going to break all trust with your wife and all trust with your kids, and you're going to jack up your life. So that's why it's a rule. That's why it's a guardrail. Don't do this. You're going to jack up your life. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife or thy neighbor's possessions. So if you're not satisfied with what you have, if you're looking around, and comparison is the death of contentment, I will tell you that. If you're looking around going, I'm not happy because I don't have what he's got, it's going to jack up your life. You're going to start chasing the wrong things. And so that's why there were these commandments. It was a loving father going, don't do this. You'll screw up your life if you do this. So, but my small group, we went through the birth of kids together. We buried parents together. You know, we might have a lesson plan. We'd pick books of the Bible and we say, okay, over the next month, we're going to go through the book of John. But if some guy came in and he's like, hey guys, I'm really struggling in my marriage, we'd close the lesson, and that's what we do that day. Is other guys would go, hey man, I've been through that. I've struggled in my marriage. And I think, and the reason I ask you why you're here tonight, you wouldn't be here if everything in your life was perfect. As I just get that feeling as you're like, man, I've chased everything the world says there is to chase, but I'm still not satisfied. And that is the beauty of a small group, and that is the beauty of faith to me. And here's the thing, for people not of faith, sometimes I think, why wouldn't you be? It's so cool. Because like when the Pharisees, the church leaders, and the synagogue were trying to trip Jesus up, they asked him, okay, out of all the laws, which one's the most important? And he said, the first one is to love God with all your heart, soul, and mind. And the second one's like it, to love your neighbor as yourself. He said, every other law hangs from those two. So it's like every guardrail, every law hangs from those two things. Love God and love your neighbor. Love, love. That's why we were created. Because when we love on people, when we let it go, we look like him to other people. And that's the best thing we can do on earth is look. Yeah, I don't know how many shows I've worked on where somebody will come up to me and go, you're different than other people. And I go, well, if you want to know why, I'll have lunch with you. I'm not going to cram it down your throat. But I'm happy to tell you why. Because I've learned to do that. I ain't in control of it. He tells me to trust him in the morning, that I'll have something to eat, the daily bread, so I'll trust you. And here's the cool things, because it's guys, I really think we're all little kids. I love the adventure of it. I love the mystery of it. And I would encourage you to just embrace the mystery of it. And think about, like, when you're driving, it's boring as hell to drive out west because the road's just real flat and real straight and it all looks the same and you can see what's coming 100 miles away. But I like driving where you don't know what's over the hill and when you don't know what's around the curve. And that's the way I view life. It's a stinking adventure. Where are we going today, Dad? Where are we going today? You're probably going to put me in a situation I didn't see coming, but it'll probably be real cool if I respond to it the right way. That makes life fun. It's not a burden. It's an adventure. I didn't know what I was going to say to you guys tonight. I'm like, but it's an adventure. I want to go talk to them. Let me just give you the glory for whatever I'm about. Anybody else? Question? Yeah.